So now we have evidence that the IRS and the Justice Department worked to protect Hunter Biden in 2020. Again, more election interference, and are still working to protect Hunter Biden and by proxy Joe Biden in the run-up to the 2024 election. First up is the big news that in terms of corruption this week. I know there's been news about DeSantis entering the campaign, and I think, I know Tim Scott, I guess, is entering the campaign as well for presidency. But really, the big news is, and I wish all the candidates would focus on it, is the endemic corruption in the Biden administration, specifically tied to Joe Biden and his family. And as you may recall, a few weeks ago, I talked about disclosures made by Congressman Comer, who chairs the Oversight Committee in the House. He was able to obtain banking records of Biden family bank members showing money laundered from places like China by the millions into LLCs in a way to disguise their origin and to conceal from prying eyes, which strongly suggests, given the nature of the monies and the fact evidently that there weren't really ongoing business concerns but slush funds for the individual family members, that it was a money laundering operation designed to take advantage of the vice president, then at the time Vice President Biden. So significant corruption issues, right? And of course the media doesn't really care about that because it's all about getting Trump. But Judicial Watch has been insistent in getting information about the threat to our national security caused by Joe Biden being corrupt and family members around him being corrupt, namely Hunter and all the rest. And to its credit, CBS News did a major story uncovering or detailing the allegations by an IRS whistleblower that showed, for instance, that the Biden Justice Department, and frankly it looks like the Trump Justice Department, the deep staters there, in 2020 intervened and tried to derail or slow and otherwise impede an investigation into Hunter Biden's tax issues that flowed from him getting monies from abroad that evidently he wasn't reporting. And as I've highlighted before, you can't really make the case against Hunter Biden without implicating Joe, because as you know, Joe was getting money from Hunter, at least according to the laptop and other evidence. And the whistleblower talked to CBS News, and I want to go over a little bit specifically what he was talking about, because other than hearing it on CBS News, you can be sure you won't hear it anywhere else. His name is Gary Shapley, or Shapley. He was a 14-year veteran of the Internal Revenue Service, and he said he was concerned about prosecutors' handling of a high-profile, controversial investigation, and that he felt duty-bound to blow the whistle, to sound alarms. And the investigation, according to CBS News, is the investigation into Hunter Biden's tax issues. And this is what he said: there were multiple steps that were slow-walked, were just completely not done at the direction of the Department of Justice. When I took control of this particular investigation, so evidently he led it for the IRS, I immediately saw deviations from the normal process. It was way outside the norm of what I've experienced in the past. And again, these accusations come more than 3 years. Frankly, it's probably longer than that in terms of how long Hunter's been targeted, into an investigation into Hunter Biden that's been conducted in Delaware by a U.S. attorney appointed by then President Trump, but who now answers to Garland, and held over by President Biden to avoid any appearance of political bias. Well, it's still the Justice Department, and having a U.S. attorney in the middle of nowhere with the attendant resources or minimal resources pretend to investigate the president's son while obviously ignoring all sorts of other compromised individuals, including the president, doesn't resolve political bias, that's for sure. Shapley told CBS News he became increasingly concerned about measures being taken that he said appeared to shield the target of the investigation, as I said, which CBS News independently confirmed as Hunter Biden. each and every time, it seemed always to benefit the subject. It just got to the point where the switch was turned on and I couldn't silence my conscience anymore. Now, he's a supervisory special agent with the IRS's Criminal Investigations Department, currently overseeing a team of 12 agents who specialize in international tax and financial crimes. Previously, he was an officer with the National Security Agency's Office of the Inspector General. He was assigned to a sensitive investigation in January 2020, again, the beginning of the campaign. And within months, he said he grew concerned about how the Justice Department was handling the investigation. For a couple of years, we've been noticing these deviations in the investigative process. And I just couldn't, fathom that the DOJ might be acting unethically on this. So he blew the whistle. Evidently, he's told Congress, he told the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, which is the IG in the IRS, and the Justice Department's Inspector General. And evidently, he said that Garland lied when he testified. It's unclear what the lies were about, but that's what people are presuming. When I saw the egregiousness of these things, it no longer became a choice for me. It's not something that I want to do, it's something I feel that I have to do. And this is my experience and Judicial Watch's experience with whistleblowers. They just can't remain silent in the face of misconduct. They're patriots. They follow the rules of the agencies while others break the rules. And in this case, you have the Justice Department, evidently in the IRS, being compromised by an effort to protect Joe Biden. What I think is interesting is that how it echoes Durham's conclusions and concerns about the way the Justice Department pursued justice, and I use the term justice loosely, where they were all hot to trot against Donald Trump, and while at the same time thinking of every way to minimize and derail and suppress and shut down investigations into Hillary Clinton. For instance, we just found out that the Clinton Foundation scandal that Judicial Watch largely uncovered through our own investigations into the speaking fees that Bill Clinton was obtaining, the exorbitant speaking fees he obtained while his wife was Secretary of State from foreign actors, plus the pay-to-play that evidently was going on through the foundation that Judicial Watch uncovered through our email work. We got her emails and Abedin's emails and other emails that showed that donors, contrary to promises, were getting special access and favors from the State Department. So our foreign policy was for sale to Clinton Foundation donors. And rather than pursue that, they shut that down and stonewalled and slow-walked it. And according to the New York Times, who did their own little FOIA investigation and finally decided to disclose what they uncovered, that the Justice Department, just before Trump left, said, oh, we don't want to do anything. And I guess the FBI is like, well, that isn't good enough. And it finally, the Justice Department under Biden formally shut down the Clinton Foundation criminal investigation that never really seriously took off, in my view, in August, I think it was August of 2021. And according to the documents the New York Times uncovered, the FBI either returned all the evidence it uncovered or destroyed it. So put that in your pipe and smoke it if you're concerned about cover-up and corruption for Hillary Clinton. You had this ongoing investigation that Durham disclosed was obviously messed with, and that ultimately was shut down by Hillary Clinton's political allies in the Biden administration, and the evidence was destroyed by the FBI. And what's happening now with Hunter Biden, we have the IRS, an IRS official, top senior lead investigator for the IRS into Biden corruption, alleging the Justice Department is doing the same thing that it did with Hillary with Hunter, deviating from the norm, obstructing justice. That's how I interpret this, obstructing justice. So much so, he can't remain silent. You know, I know this type. They go to work and they just want to do their job. And when they're told they're not supposed to do their job, and it's obvious because of politics, it really ticks them off. And that's what's going on with Hunter Biden. And so now we have evidence that the IRS and the Justice Department worked to protect Hunter Biden in 2020. Again, more election interference, and are still working to protect Hunter Biden and by proxy Joe Biden in the run-up to the 2024 election, which is exactly the sort of scenario was laid out with by Durham with Hillary Clinton, who was treated, as the Durham report discloses, with kid gloves, while Trump was targeted with unprecedented spying and abuse based on knowingly false information produced by Hillary. The Hillary gang knew there was nothing there, and of course, as Durham highlighted, the Obama operation in the deep state all knew there was nothing there to target Trump with, yet they did it anyway. And it's happening again. Hunter's being protected while Trump is being targeted. And as we were talking about recently, and you may have seen in the news, it's highly likely Trump is not only going to be, he's already been indicted in New York on fraudulent and pretextual basis. It's going to happen in Georgia, where the left-wing Democrat prosecutor down there is going to attack Trump and try to prosecute him for exercising his First Amendment rights and his prerogatives as president to ensure the election was clean. And the same thing's going to happen up here in Washington, D.C., where partisan prosecutors under Joe Biden are going to, in an unprecedented fashion, prosecute Trump over a manufactured document dispute for which they had any legal basis to harass him on. And the comparison and contrasting with how Joe's been protected and Hunter's been protected just further highlights how our Justice Department and FBI are frankly irredeemable. And the IRS, no one's ever trusted since the Tea Party, and it goes before that. The IRS has regularly been used by presidents to target their political opponents. And some of that targeting means also going after one while protecting the other. And obviously that's been going on here with Hunter Biden. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.